I want to talk to you today about the micro pitch, or the elevator pitch as it's traditionally known. And the reason I want to talk to you about the elevator pitch is that I want you to be able to have a little spiel that you take out with you everywhere that you go, whether that is to the school gate or to Nando's to pick up a takeaway, or when you are sitting at a dinner and talking to somebody new, as well as obviously when you are in an interview situation and the interviewer is asking you the inevitable question of, tell me a little bit about yourself. And the elevator pitch really has one goal, and that is to intrigue your audience sufficiently that they are left wanting more, whether that be to introduce you to somebody who is currently recruiting in their network, or to take you through an interview process, or whatever. You just want to ignite a buying signal in your audience. And what's quite interesting to remember when you're preparing your elevator pitch is that when you pitch, the audience's brain is engaged in a section called the crocodile brain. And the crocodile brain is the part of us that is asking the questions like, can I eat it? Can I survive this? Will it make me more powerful? So that's really important in thinking about your pitch, that it needs to be just in very basic language, crisp, concise, so that you don't just get filtered out by your audience's survival instinct. And there's a guy called David Allen who wrote a book called Getting Things Done. And what he says is that we can really only organise 6 things in our brain at any one time. And that's, as women, really surprised me. But what it tells you is that you need to be very clear and quite economical in your message. So it's just very, very important to prepare. And what I do is I just put together a series of post-it notes as a storyline, and I go through it, and so I write it down, and then I read it, and then I get it into my talking language so that I sound just normal. So if we think about how you construct the elevator pitch, you've got about 3 minutes, and in that time, in order to be understandable, I think you can say something like 390 words or 27 sentences and be understood. Any more than that and you're speeding through your message and it's just going to get lost. So do prepare, do write it all down, but then get it into your talking language so that you sound authentic and real, and most importantly, you're believing your own story. The way that I would construct a pitch is just by organising it into 3 simple components of an introduction, a body where you talk about you yourself as a professional and what you uniquely bring, and then I would finish up with a conclusion, and I would always like to put a call to action in the conclusion. So if we start with the introduction, now obviously if you're just chatting to somebody when you're out and about, this won't apply. But if you're in an interview situation, a really nice way to introduce your pitch is by asking a question. It shows that you are interested in the other party and that you are there to solve a problem, which is what all selling is about. So I would typically ask a question along the lines of, tell me a little bit about the top 2 or 3 challenges that your team is facing this year. And when you have your response, you can then feed that into the body of your pitch, which is where you focus on yourself and your offering and what makes you unique. So if we take the body of the pitch, like I say, write it all down, all of your experience. You'll probably end up with a whole ream of keywords. That's great, but you want to get it down to something that you're really happy with it rolling off your tongue, and you just feel comfortable saying it wherever you are. This is just being real and authentic, and it's you, it's the essence of who you are as a professional. So the branding just needs to be really simple and clear. And so if I use my own experience as an example, what I might say is I'm a talent acquisition manager, and what I bring is experience across search firms and working in-house and across lots of sectors. And my specific expertise is in structuring complex packages and developing the employee value proposition. And I'm really excited now about working with a brand to develop their candidate experience and continue to create an edge for them in senior level hires. So it's quite simple. It doesn't go into everything I've ever done. They've got my CV and my LinkedIn profile for that. It's just who I am and what I offer. And then that's it. And then I would go into the conclusion. And if I'm in an interview, what I would want to say is I want to find out if I'm getting to the next stage. I want to find out if they've bought. So you could ask something like, have I given you enough information today to be invited in for the next stage? Or is it likely that I will be invited back for the next interview? Or I'm really excited about this opportunity. Is there anything else that I can be demonstrating to you today that will help you decide that I'm suitable? Obviously, again, that's not going to be working if you're out and about just networking. You don't need to close your new mate, but it's just what I would do in an interview to show that I'm really confident in my proposition. So that's really it for an elevator pitch. I hope that once you have prepared it and taken the mystique out of it, it becomes something that's not scary for you. A couple of other tips. Please don't be apologetic if you've been on a career break and you think that you are lacking in some way. You're absolutely not. You bring so much to the market, having had a broader frame of reference outside your work. Remember that you are frozen in time to the individual who is interviewing you. They never saw you in your flip-flops and your tracky bottoms at Sainsbury's with your children or on your Gap. They just know you as the professional that's on your CV. So you really need to step up to your own professional branding when you're doing this. I wouldn't avoid talking about your experience as a mum, or talking about too much about your career break, and do avoid the cliches of I'm a team player, I'm really driven, I'm highly ambitious. Hopefully you're demonstrating all of that in the experience that you bring. So have a bit of fun with it. It can actually be something that's quite cool to get together and start to just pepper your conversations with around and about the place. Getting a job is all about the people that you know and you introduce yourself to in the search process. So this is vital. Get it right now and you'll reap huge rewards from it. Thanks for listening.